You might know this already if you follow me on Threads, but I spent literally a weekend organizing my yarn. It would be one thing if fiber arts, knitting, and crochet was just my hobby. I could kind of let my yarn just do what it wants to do. But since I want to make this a business, I definitely need to be more organized and have a good understanding of what I have and have a system in place so when I grow, I'm not stressed. And since I'm very type A, very organized, and even though it took a long time, I completely enjoyed the process of organizing my yarn. And now I want to share it with you. And now you can see all the yarn I've accumulated in my many years knitting and crocheting. So here is my yarn inventory. I painstakingly took pictures or grabbed listings for every yarn that I own. Yes, it took forever, but look how pretty this is. So now I'm going to take you through my yarn inventory. So we're going to go by location. First, we have my desk shelf. So that's to the left of me. I don't think it's in frame, but this is the yarn that I am touching most often. It's usually for current projects. So this tells you what's in the top shelf. So this one up here, and the middle shelf is currently empty of any yarn, but I still want to leave it there just in case I add yarn there. And this bottom shelf, which is here, is another current project. So I just got a commission, and you're gonna learn about this first. It's one of my friends ordered a kitten and a penguin. And so I don't know if you can see, each of the yarns, if I've used it for something or if I'm going to use something, I have a little emoji reaction to show what I'm using that yarn for. So we have a penguin and a kitten, and then I have all the yarns for each project. I thought that was a cute aspect of trying to track or even, keeping track of what I've used yarn for. And then we have my what yarn is in my current project bag. I had a pattern given to me by the library group that does yarn social, and I'm working on a granny square bag. And so since that bag has to go back and forth to the library, I figured I have that project bag as its own category for a location. So we have these yarns in that bag. I also used this yarn for the bunny, which I'm not even sure if you all remember. This yarn was one of my Miami Academy projects. And this yarn, I think I got in a yarn swap. So next we're going to go over one more. And this is my bins. So this is stuff that I don't go to as often, but I still need to know what's what. So I have two bins that are on the opposite side of my room. The top one is mostly acrylic yarn or a thinner yarn, and then the bottom one is all my plush yarn. So you can see side by side, it's like this is all the acrylic and this is all the plush. And then what each project might have been used for. And it's kind of a fun sort of walk down memory lane to see all the things that I've made and just how much yarn I have. As you can see very quickly, I have significantly more acrylic yarn than plush yarn because the acrylic yarn, as I was winding it, took a lot less space. But what's interesting going through a lot of this yarn, it's very easy to forget what yarn you have. So you're kind of scrolling through. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. And I'm like, am I going to have to pay for more? Am I going to have to get more of this yarn? It's like, nope, you have it. Don't get more of this yarn. That is going to save me so much money, so much time than trying to dig through all the yarn that I have. That's what I was going to, that is what I was trying to avoid. Was I don't know how much yarn I have or what yarn I have. Let me just dig through every time I need to look for something. But now I have this. It takes 2 seconds to scroll. I know that I need to go to this one if I need it. The past me was just so genius in how I put this together. The only other thing that I'll mention is that future projects that I'm thinking about doing, because I saw this pink and this sort of fuchsia type color, and I have been wanting to do a Stray Kids project. If you have seen any of my videos and you've seen one of my backgrounds, you know I'm a huge fan of Stray Kids. And one of my faves is Changbin, and his animal is a Dweki, which is a pig rabbit. And I look at this color combination every time, and I'm like, this would make such a good Dweki. So that's still on my list. I'm getting orders, so I don't want to devote time to this project yet, but as soon as I have a lull, I'm working on this. So that was my yarn collection, an inventory of everything I have. I am sure this is not everything I've ever had. I'm pretty sure I've like purged yarn every so often. But this is the current stash, and I am so happy that I took the time to do this. And I know future me is going to be happy with me as well. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.